First and foremost on the program is Dr. Ralph Rivas. Dr. Rivas?
Thank you, Coach Bailey, our athletic director and head football coach. Bailey and I had known each other for 50 years or more, because I went to school at Virginia Union, and I think he came there doing my graduate studies under Dr. James and others. And I've read the paper. I keep up with HBCUs and their findings and so forth, and I knew he had gone to St. Paul and started football after it had been cut out on I can't think of the gentleman's name, Waddell, Dr. Waddell. Well, Satchel was there when you left, but Waddell was the one who brought the program back. And I looked at the Free Press one day and I saw, it said, Willard Bailey retires, but don't count him out. And a couple of days later, I called him, Dr. James. I said, Bailey, you know me. I right away recognized the name. I said, come up here to see me. I will talk to you. And Bailey came up to talk to me, and when we finished talking, Bailey became as excited about restarting the sports programs as I have, and at times maybe more exciting. He loves to spend money.
That's the truth.
I got a witness. But we started it very big, and of course you know that what happened at the Penn Relays. Our ladies won the 400 heat, first year out, and that's the granddad of all track meets in the United States. And the men missed it by 2 steps. We didn't have a bad year with football or basketball. Girls and men did very well. But I'm glad that you're here, and I'm delighted to have my mentor and friend, Dr. Alex B. James, who was the dean of the School of Religion, it's now the Samuel D. Whit Proctor School of Theology, when I was a student there. And President Henderson was president. And when President Henderson died, I believe in 1970, I believe it was, Dr. James, who was already vice president and dean of graduate school, followed him as president of the university and stayed about 10 years. And it was during his stay that I came back to teach, to take Dr. Sam Carter's position in church history, and I stayed for nearly 25 years before coming here, and at the same time was a pastor of Riverview Baptist Church, one of the larger congregations in Richmond. But I'm delighted to have him. You don't know the joy that's in my heart, because he's been so supportive of my life and ministry, even since I left Virginia Union. And it's so appropriate, because he gave, when I first came here, when no one believed, but my close friends like him, that we would succeed. But the rest is history. And we celebrate today his lovely wife, Sister Sue and James Wellness Center, and its opening. Glad to have you here, Dr. James, and Portia, and the rest of you.
I said that we would follow the program as printed, but I do want to say something before Dr. James comes up. Of course, in my long career, it doesn't really seem that long when I think of my relationship with Dr. James and his whole family. That's Alvin, Portia, and Mrs. Sue James, and Dr. James. Been one of the beacons of my advisement. I can say that the entire time I coached at Virginia Union, in fact, I tell everybody I wasn't a shoe-in for the job. I was appointed the job by the athletic director at that time for one reason. I was the least experienced coach. I was the newest coach. I knew almost nothing about the strategic part of coaching football. But Coach Tom Harris was the dean of the CIAA football coaches. And he told Dr. James, he didn't ask him, he told Dr. James, Bailey's gonna be my replacement. Dr. James said, wait a minute now. Bailey is the least experienced. Why would you want Bailey? You got all those seasons. He said, Bailey is going to be my replacement because Bailey has been loyal to me. That's the only thing Tom Harris told him. But Dr. James didn't accept that laying down. He said, Coach, wait a minute. I hear what you're saying about loyalty, but that doesn't tell me anything about competition against Morgan, against Virginia State, Maryland State. What are we going to do with an inexperienced coach? He said, look, you're right, but you're going to hire him for 3 reasons. And Dr. James said, yeah, I'm listening. He said, number 1, as I said, he's been loyal to me. Number 2, he doesn't know that much football, but I know all the football, and I'm going to teach him. And he said, number 3, Dr. James, I'm still listening. He said, he's the best $6,000 a year coach you're going to find. So Dr. James said, well, in that case, I guess I have me a new coach. And that is the truth. But from that day to this day, Coach Harris did that with me, and he did it to Dr. James with Dave Robbins, our basketball coach. We called the White Shadow. As fate would have it, and an indication of Dr. James and Coach Harris's wisdom, Dave Robbins won 2 or 3 national championships and the winningest coach in the history of the CIAA, the first Caucasian coach to coach in our league. But he is the most successful ever. And they say I come into that same arena of wins as the winningest football coach in the history. I didn't say that for my part or Dave's part, but Dr. James' part and his wisdom on selecting coaches with the help of his daughter, with Dave Robbins, and with the help of Coach Harris with me. But you know, through all the storms and successes we had, there was always someone standing in the shadows, being sure that we had what we needed to be successful. And that was Dr. A.B. James. And I say this to a lot of people. They want to know why would I said I had a president that never said no to me once. I couldn't get him to say no. And I've never regretted that, and he never regretted it. But the point is, I said he never said no, but he never said yes too for everything. But he would say, Bailey, I don't see that right now, but let me think about that and talk to me in a couple of weeks. But he didn't say no. That is a very big motivating factor for a young coach or older coach. And I just wanted to stand here this morning, speaking for me, Dave Robbins, and so many other coaches and so many other student athletes. I can say that during Dr. James' tenure as president, not only did we turn out some of the top students in the history of this nation and their reputations in all segments of occupations prove that today, but also some of the best coaches, best student athletes. We've had several student athletes, Herb Scott, Dallas, Charles Oakley, Big Ben. All of these men came through our program, and they were inspired by Dr. A.B. James, the most successful president in the history of Virginia Union University when it came to putting athletics and academics together. And this is why he's been such a motivating factor in our lives, all of our lives. And he still is today. I want Dr. James to come up and say a few words. Huh? You all right, Doc? Okay. Come on.
all those present today, this is one of the happiest days of my life. When I stand here today and look at Ralph Rivas, a former student during my time, who has really wrought miracles at VUL, it makes me happy. When I see Willard Bailey, as he claimed to be the most inexperienced coach ever appointed at Virginia Union, but ended up to be the most outstanding coach of any football coach in CIAA, it makes me happy. And when these two persons get together and do the job that they're doing at VUL, it makes me feel happy. And even though I don't want to take credit for any of it, it all came during my lifetime. And I thank God that I've known these two men through the years and for the fine job they're doing. And to think that they thought enough of the James household to name a lady whom I dated for just 3 months, but she stuck by me for 67 years. A partner. So whatever I have done during my lifetime, I have to give her much of the credit because she supported me in every endeavor I attempted. So on behalf of Portia and myself, the only two survivors of the A.B. James household now, I want to thank the Board of Trustees, the President, and the coach for the honors you have brought to all of us. Sue was a lover of athletics. She would miss a football game. She would miss a basketball game. She would teach school all day long and get in that car and drive miles to see the football players on the field or the basketball players on the court. She was a lover of athletics, at the same time being strongly supporter of academics. So this fitness center is a tribute to a lady who loved athletics, who loved academics, and would give her everything to make sure that those things would succeed. So I want to thank those who made this day possible. And I pray that this center will help develop other strong persons, both in body and soul and mind, to make them the kind of persons that this world so richly deserves. Thank you, Dr. Rivas. Thank you, Coach Bailey, for making this day possible. And on behalf of Portia and myself, we praise God that the two of you came into our lives. You blessed us, and the trust of this center will be a blessing to all of those who use it. May God bless each of you.